So we want to first do the teleportation to a location because it's a bit more simple. So let's start building that up. We want to drag our exit partner actor, get it here. And when we are getting pieces from it, we want to target the default scene root inside of it, okay? Because we essentially want to get the central point of the local space of the blueprint. And I'll explain a bit better in a second. But before we do that, let's just say is valid, because we want to always check that with the question mark. Connect that to that. And now if it is valid, this is where, like I was telling you about the conditions we're setting here. This is where we want partner is set to set. So I dragged it from here to here and I said set. And on is valid, we put it to true. And then we continue by doing our mathy stuff. By mathy stuff, I mean getting the points of the pieces. So we are targeting the default scene root in order to get the central point of it. And then we drag and we say get world transform. This one here. Okay. And the reason we're doing that is because when we drag a blueprint in, there is local space associated to this cluster of pieces that are in this blueprint specifically. But then there is a world space, and it is where does this actor exist in the world. That world space can actually be indicated here. These numbers that you're seeing over there, excuse me, that's the world space. So we get that, and then from the exit partner actor, we want to get a point that is our exit point, and that doesn't exist yet. Okay, what I mean is I made it so it is this point, and you can move it around like so, but I made it so in the other blueprint for us here it doesn't exist yet, so we will create it just in a moment. And once we get that, we're going to multiply it. So multiply operation for drag this and then say multiply. I think we're after compose transforms. Yes. So we're going to compose. Let's disconnect it and let's keep it there for a second. We're going to compose one of the locations over the other location, and we will promote it into a variable. The result, it doesn't exist yet. We'll promote it into a variable called exit location partner. If you're looking right here is where I'm doing it. There we go. And we'll set that. Cool. But it's incomplete, so let us get the point that we are missing. In order to do that, we go, yeah, that error is to be expected. Let's just get over it by disconnecting for a second. We go into the viewport and, okay, and here we create a new variable called this gate exit location, and it will be type transform, and it will be exposed. So here we click and we say transform. And for description, we put this specifies the location to which the player will teleport when exiting. Okay, and it's instance editable, which then we put into a new category and we call it exits. Wonderful, it goes over there. And that gives us, nope, so if I select it, do you see this show 3D widget? Let's stick that on, compile, save. And see, now it gives us this bullet together with this, where if I make sure that I'm clicking on it, I can then move it. See, I've selected it now and I move it. And I move this gate exit location forward. And I can do it for the other one as well. Cool. But because I find it honestly like a bit tricky to select this, that's why I made that gizmo here, where like there's like an actual silly looking green man. So I'll show you how to do that green man in a moment. But for now, let's continue as it is. So go back here And before we do anything else, let's also click the plus again and create a new variable that says another level exit location. And do the same stuff. So expose it, move it to exits, show 3D widget on, and for description, we say exit location when loading another level with another gateway. And we save that. So we go back to the graph, the blueprints graph. And now that the missing pieces exists, here we drag this exit partner actor and we say this gate exit location. We get it. Cool. And now the next thing we want to do is we want to transpose A over B. But in this case, A is going to be this gate exit location, okay? And B will be the get world transform. And then we connect this to here. Cool. So that is this part built. So we'll build going to another level in a second. But now that we have this done, let's see about teleporting the player. So this sequence we're going to break up into parts. And by the way, because now this is going to be valid, we should no longer be stopped till no exit partner is set. We should be getting I am teleporting when we walk into this. So let's test it just to make sure that everything works. Cool. Yep, it said I am teleporting. So the first thing that I want to do when I begin teleporting is I want to check whether the player can be teleported or not. Essentially, imagine that you walk into a teleport and you're met by another teleport, or you somehow manage to be so quick into walking in and out of the same teleport that you end up triggering the same teleport a few times. We want to prevent bugs, which is why we want to put a cooldown on the ability of the player being teleported. And the best place to do that is in the blueprint of the character. So let's say we get this, the as third person character. Let's get it. And then here we're going to create a can teleport thing. It exists for me because I've made this already, but it won't exist for you. So let me show you how to do it. Go into your third person template, blueprints, and then go into blueprint third person character. And here create a new boolean called can teleport, and don't give it any settings or anything like that. It's all cool. By default, it will be set to yes. So create it and compile it and set it to true. And then create a new function, add custom event this, and call it start teleport cooldown. Then drag the can teleport and put it like so. Then create a float, put it to a teleport cooldown 3, drag it into the delay like this. After, drag out a set, so drag this and then say set. We are doing this in the event graph of the character, by the way, like under everything. And at the end say like teleport cooldown finished, okay? So that's essentially the only, like what you're seeing on the screen right now is what you need to do in the third person character. And after you've done that, you can go back here and you can drag out can teleport. Perfect. And we do an if branch from here. And if the answer is true, the player are not in a cooldown, they can teleport, then we can print a string just for debugging purposes called relocation sequence starts. Wonderful. After this sequence, I want to do a delay of 0.2 seconds. I sometimes use delays like this in order to prevent small bugs, so just have it there. And I'm going to invoke a few custom functions that will do stuff on the screen, freeze the player, play audio, but I'm going to skip through these now because we'll do them a bit later with you. So we'll go back to this in a moment. So here I want to create another variable called delay before tele, and I will put it to float, and I will make it instance editable. And this will be custom delay amount for this gate, and I will put it into the setup, and I'll compile, and I'll set, and I'll drag this, and I'll get, and I'll do a delay with the duration of this. So again, as I said here, we'll add events later. Essentially what this does is, I thought it would be cool if every gate you select it, and you can, oh by the way, for this, put a custom, put a default value of 0.75. And essentially a designer can now decide to change this amount. So like that's, you walk into the trigger and maybe you want for some reason to wait a bit longer before teleporting. So it just opens up more options. Cool. So now let's check if this loads into another level. So get this branch. And the answer for now will always be no, because we haven't actually built the load another level. So this here doesn't exist, but we'll do it later. But still, we are putting it here just for the time being. And if it is true, we're going to be loading a level. So let's actually create that custom event and call it load level. And this load level will exist over here, and it will be the sequence that triggers for unloading the current level and loading the new one. So call it here and put it like so. We're just sketching. We haven't added this yet, but why not do it now? If it doesn't load another level, then we want to teleport the player, but that doesn't yet exist either. We've just created begin player revocation. So let's add custom event and let's call it teleport player. Cool. And teleport player I'm going to place like here. We're sketching, we'll like complete these custom functions in a second. And here I'm going to invoke it. So teleport player, I'm going to call it. Cool. But you know what, like after we've loaded the level, we also want to teleport player, you know. You'll see in a moment why that matters. And after those things have been done, we will lead to UI splash screen change and to unfreezing and freezing the player. That doesn't exist yet. So we'll get back to creating it in a moment as well. In the time being, I want to tidy up. So C and then say teleport. And this I'm going to put to a lush green. And I'll move it there. And this lush green I'm going to reuse here because I love it so. So now hopefully you can like from far away have easier time reading the blueprint. And now with this being there, this is where the fun begins. So let's give us the function for teleporting. So I love doing like def checks, so print string, and let's say there is now being teleported, because why not? Move the load level down. And now let's get player pawn, because we want to be manipulating where the pawn is. And let's say that to this we want to set actor location and rotation. We want to do both, because if you walk into a gate that's facing north and the new gate you're teleporting to is suddenly facing west, you want to teleport the player to be facing west as well. Otherwise, it will not feel like a seamless teleportation. And here we connect this to this, like so. While this exit location partner that we've placed here, we want to move and get. And when we have that, we want to right-click, right-click, split structure split structure pin, and the location goes into the location, the rotation goes here. Wonderful. So this exit location partner is what we were setting here. Okay, this is what we were building up, and this is why we transposed the world location on top of the local location of stuff. So this teleportation happens, and next we want to start this teleport cooldown, the cooldown that we've set will be happening for 3 seconds. So here we will get the as third person character again, and we will say start teleport cooldown, which is essentially us calling the name of this start teleport cooldown, and we connect this. This is, by the way, why we made it so every time the game begins, every time for a single time the player walks into the collision sphere, we then forever, while the level exists, we hold the reference to this, because you can now see how it's useful to hold the reference to the player. And then I found out that if we do things this way, let's test them and you'll see what I mean. It should work and it should teleport us from here to over there. There we go, perfect. But see, like it rotated me, so I was facing this way. Let me do it again because I pressed really quickly. So, see, I'm facing, the character is facing the right way, but my camera is not. And that is annoying as heck because it creates for like this, look at me, like I moved in a really silly way. I don't want that happening. Like I want, when I'm holding W and I go in, I wanna be going in on this side as well, right? And by the way, this was a good showcase of why you need a good cooldown after like the teleportation happens, because here like I get teleported out and then I get teleported out again immediately. And also I'm thinking that the collision sphere that I have built up for the original work is much more delicate and in general better than this one. So before we fix the previous issue, let's improve that. So the collision sphere, give it radius default of something more sensible like 180. The line thickness can stay as it is. And then the collision sphere location default, I'm thinking, so collision sphere location, this, let us push on this a bit back, because otherwise I just get teleported immediately. So we do that. And then the final thing to be mindful of is, so essentially this gate exit location that we're moving on by hand, it needs to be out enough so you don't end up like in it. So in this gate exit location, let's also give it default like 350. So that like pushes it forward. And let's get it up a bit by 13. And let's compile. And if I were to find this and I dragged it in, I want to see where it is. That's wrong. See, this is wrong, so let's go back. And I think this needs to be there, while this is 0. So I'm on this gate exit location, compile. Yep, perfect. So see, like I just made it so the default, like where this appears, is gonna be there. Cool. And now, yeah. Now if I play, let me compile. I shouldn't like end up teleporting myself immediately. Yeah. Brilliant. And then again. So yeah, that fixed my issue of like being teleported immediately. But back to what I was describing initially, I want to walk into this and then start walking this way directly. So let's fix that. Go back here, go into the event graph, and let's expand our logic. So after the start of the teleport cooldown, I want to center the camera, and I will split it into add custom event, and I will call it center camera logically, and it will be here, and I'll call it here. Like I know this might appear silly, but I just find it more readable when things are like broken up into chunks like that. So I can then just do this thing that I always do. Like so. And this like this. And if I want, I can move that over there, but in my original, I found out that it's just more readable if it's over here, so let's keep it like that. So in order to fix the camera issue, we need to now be tweaking the player controller. So let's get player controller. And quick lesson here, because this frankly took me an hour to figure out. When you want to manipulate the camera of the player, you want to be playing with the get player controller. You don't want to be doing the get player pawn. Because I kept rotating the player pawn and expecting my camera to also fix itself, and only after quite a bit of reading I learned that I need to do it in the player controller, and that will fix my camera. So in here, let's get control rotation. This is the camera I'm referring to. And then down here, let's copy this exit location partner from here, place it over here, expand this a bit to envelop it, right click, combine rotators, and I want to right click split. In B we put this, right click split this, and the Y goes here because the Y is me being centered with the camera. And here there's a function called set control rotation. It's in there by default. You don't need to create it. It's going to be the target of this, of the player controller. I double clicked on this to create this pin to make it like more pretty as lines. Expand this. And the result of the combined rotators goes into here. And we hit compile and we hit save. So now after the player has been teleported, immediately we will center the camera on the y-axis. So let's see it in action. Oh, there we go. Absolutely seamless teleportation. Wonderful. We absolutely love to see it. That is essentially us teleporting from one location to another done, really, if I'm being completely honest with you. Let's clean all of this up. We'll make the green guy in a moment, but let me show you that everything works. So we moved it to a completely different spot. We rotate it however we want. We hit play. So the math works all fine, and with us rotating these actors in the world, the rotation works as well. Which is why we were like combining and doing things with rotation vectors. It's important to test stuff like this, by the way, because when I first made it, these were facing always in north and south or whatever, and like it ended up always working. And then once I tested it into a completely different configuration, like let's say this and like this, it kept breaking. It won't break here because I've done everything the correct way for you. But I just want to prove it to you. So this is going to be red. This is going to be red. We're going to drop in, and it's so cute. We go in, and boom, we're here. And I collided with something invisible, but that's fine. And yeah. So next up, I am thinking, because I want your blueprint to be as refined as mine, I'm thinking we quickly jumped in Blender 5 minutes and we create this silly dummy to place here. We could, by the way, place the character actor, but I like using a simplified representation instead. That is color coded like that and just indicates to me immediately like, oh, this is like my gateway. So yeah, let's take a break and we'll be back. So multiply operation for this. There we go. No, that is not it, and everything froze. Let's hope that we don't crash